Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that.
See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings. Good evening, Boise State fans. After a 72-52 loss for the Boise State men's basketball team here at Viejas Arena to San Diego State, they are getting set up for a rap concert down on the court. So we've moved to the top of the arena here, and we will take your comments, your thoughts. A lot to discuss after this one. Boise State loses 72-52 to San Diego State. As I said, the Broncos playing without Marcus Shaver Jr. We're pretty much just out of sync from the start. Just had trouble getting the ball across half court. Didn't have many open looks, and it just kind of snowballed on them. And San Diego State, fed off the crowd and just continued to build the lead. And it was pretty one-sided from the start. Boise State actually led the game 6-2 a couple minutes in, and then the Broncos gave up a 27-4 run. 27-4 run by San Diego State opened up a 29-10 lead. The game was kind of over from that point. So Boise State really never threatened, and you just had Max Rice airballing shots. You had Lucas Milner and Mo Silla taking contested 15-foot jumpers. It was just a weird game where Boise State didn't do a lot of what we've seen them do for most of the year. So we're going to have Leon Rice, Max Rice, both talked to a small group of media here. We have highlights from Colin Mitchell as well. And again, happy to take your thoughts on this one. Brandon's going to start us off tonight on the Idaho Central Credit Union YouTube chat. And he says, saw some of the haters coming out after this one. Any concern for me? You know what? I mean, as my wife says, accurately, it was rough. It was a rough game, and it was one game, though. I mean, it was as bad as they've played in a long time. It was their worst loss since January 27th, I believe it was, 2021. Worst conference loss. They lost by 22 at Colorado State a couple years ago. But you know what? You didn't have Marcus Shaver. Tyson Degenhart being in foul trouble was a big loss as well. So I think that you just kind of say it was a horrible game and chalk it up, and whether they had lost by 1 or 20, it's still a loss. So you just move on. But I mean, I'm not ready to say this is an NIT team or that they were exposed tonight as frauds. I mean, they were without their best player. Take the best player off of any team in America, and they're not going to be nearly as good. And then do it on the road against a top 25 team in a sold-out arena, and you pretty much have no chance. And that's kind of what happened to Boise State. I mean, Max Rice even admitted once Tyson got his third foul, he looked around and he said, "Okay, we're in trouble." And that's exactly what happened. So it was I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. It was a horrible game. They looked terrible. It was probably their worst loss. I know they had 11 points against Charlotte, but this one just felt worse. Given what had happened and the defense not really being there. It was just overall a very poor game. But they had a lot up against them, like I said. And so it was one game, you chalk it up, and they got to come back to Boise next, in a couple weeks. So the schedule still's in Boise State's favor. They still get New Mexico and San Diego State at home. They still get Utah State on the road. But I am not ready to call this an NIT team or that the season is over and they're frauds. I mean, it was one game. So if you had lost, 78-77 on a buzzer beater, you'd be feeling differently about the game, but it's still a loss. So it is what it is. They fall out, into a tie for second place out of first place. And, I like Jace Whiting. He's a good kid that I think has a very bright future here, but he's a freshman going up against, fourth, fifth, sixth-year guys on San Diego State, and their athleticism and their length really bothered them. I mean, they had a 10-second call, a couple other turnovers. I mean, they couldn't even get the ball across half court at times, and so it was just a game that for Boise State you flush and you throw out and you move on to the next one. And this team badly needs the bye. The 8 days off is coming at a perfect time for this team. You wished it would have come before this game, maybe, so you would have had a chance Marcus Shaver Jr. could have played. But this team was running on fumes. I mean, you just kind of saw this coming. To be honest, it was just they've been playing a lot of games back to back to back, 2 games in a row on the road. They've been on the road since Monday when they went to Air Force. And it's just been a really tough stretch for this team. So they're going to get some guys healthy. Even guys like Max Rice, who's playing a lot, is dealing with a back injury and some other things. So they're going to give a lot of time off this week to some of their key players. Some of the younger guys, I think they're going to work pretty hard and try to get them to improve this week. But a lot of the 5 key guys, I think, are going to get a lot of needed time to rest. Because even, Najee Smith played, but he wasn't at 100% tonight. He wasn't close. So give him another week to rest his knee. And then you let these guys rest. He'll put it behind you, and then you get ready for Wyoming a week from Saturday. So I just think this team was, ran into a buzzsaw tonight, and San Diego State was obviously motivated after the 3 times last year that they beat them. And, they came out fired up from the start against an undermanned Boise State team that was running on fumes, and it's just kind of how it worked out tonight. So I don't think it's anything more than that. If folks want to overreact and say it's their NIT bound, as I saw somebody on Twitter say, and the season's over, I mean, you're obviously more than welcome to do that. I just vehemently disagree. It was one game. If they go lose to Wyoming next week, then you can make something of it. But it was a game they were supposed to lose, and they lost, and you move on to the next one. It is what it is. Really, Kurt Blake stopped watching when it was 33-14. Good for you, Kurt. It really didn't get much better the rest of the time. Sam says if you're going to have a stinker, might as well come in a quad 1 road game. Exactly. Game was worse than the score. Boise State couldn't sink a basket or even get on a roll in the first half. 8 days to regroup, finish the season strong. Right there with you, Kevin. Needs Shaver back. The conference is so deep, going to be extremely hard to win without being close to full strength. Let's see. Every team has these games. Horrible loss, absolutely horrible, according to Vince. Was Shaver worth 13 points tonight on the spread? I think so. And not even just his scoring, but his ball handling, his ability to calm guys down, to run the offense, to get guys across half court. I think that you really found out tonight how much Marcus Shaver Jr. does for this team, and it's not just scoring the ball. It's as simple as bringing the ball up the court. It was a big struggle for them to even get the ball across half court at times. So just a game to set up the seeding for the conference tournament. Both teams have a chance to make a statement. At the end of the day, with a lot of travel, the injuries, early fouls, it's a lot to overcome. The overreacting is crazy. Totally agree with that. Deggy's foul trouble attributed to Shaver's absence. When you go cold from 3, that happens. Yeah, Boise State shot 2 of 18 from 3-point range. That's 11.1%. So Boise State goes 2 of 18 from downtown. Really struggled to shoot the ball. I will say during the timeout, seemed like Shaver wasn't limping much. Maybe these 8 days will give him time to heal. He was wearing a boot and wasn't really moving around much, so I'm not sure how much he was actually moving or not moving, or what you could tell when the guy's wearing the boot. But Kurt Fuller, 2 of 18 from 3. If you hit 5 or 6 more, you're in the game. Plus Shaver adds 10 points. Yeah, just had a rough game. They had a rough game. I'm not ready to give up on the season, but there's no sugarcoating the game itself. They played terrible and looked horrible. It was one of the worst games they've played in 2 years. Both can be true. It can be a rough game, and then it can be one that's not going to end your season either. So you just put it behind you and you move on. Marcus out, Najee not 100%, Tyson foul trouble, Mintz outperforming his production. Yeah, Mintz had 16 points. He was huge in this game. Let's see. Game they were supposed to lose, lost 2 halves. Shaver, important minutes taken from Tyson. Easily the 15 points right there. You need to make the kind of loss expected. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jordan. A lot went wrong. This fan base learning at the peaks and valleys of college basketball. Appreciate BNN helping keep us all educated and grounded. Well, appreciate that, Derek. But depends on who you ask on that one, I guess. Casual Boise State basketball fans, Twitter going crazy. Not like we lost to CSU Bakersfield. The team needs to get healthy. Totally agree. Brent Chapman, Broncos will be fine. Would have been huge to get a dub there, but wasn't in the cards tonight. They're in a good position moving forward. And Leon Rice even said that after the game. We're going to hear from him shortly. He said that they're still in a good position moving forward. Fans are quick to cry on Twitter. Bit concerned about the lack of depth. Leon needs to hit the transfer portal way harder this coming offseason. a game where Malad and Armis big would have helped us. Yeah, I think they're going to have to get a point guard, obviously, because of Shaver, and then they're going to have to go get a big guy. I think you have to get a traditional center next season because you lose Najee and you lose Lucas. So I think that's a given that you're going to have to go get a center, and then I think they try to get another point guard as well. I'm not sure if Jace is your starting point guard next year or not. I think they'll see what they can get in the portal. I think you got to find a way to upgrade at the point guard position when you're losing the guy like Marcus Shaver. And I totally agree on the big guys. And again, Mo Silla and Lucas Milner, I mean, they're both out there jacking up 15-foot contested baseline jumpers. I just don't know what was going on there. They were just pressing and out of sync from the start and couldn't get anything going tonight. And the end result is the end result. So we're going to hear from Leon Rice, the head coach, in just a minute. But first, want to thank some of our sponsors. We're broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits Mobile Studios on the road today here at Viejas Arena in San Diego. Make sure you pick up one of their more than 30 flavors of premixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Rowpaint.com is still offering that 15% deal. Our title sponsor here. Support the sponsors, folks. Get your painting projects done from Row Paint, and they're offering 15% off right now if you use the promo code BNN15 on your next interior painting project. Again, use the promo code BNN15. Lithia Ford of Boise. They will buy your used car even if you don't buy from them. That's right. If you're looking to sell your used car and upgrade, well, even if you don't like their vehicles, they'll still buy your used car. So head on in, Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. Get more information. But they'll buy your used cars at Lithia Ford of Boise. And the Rains family, we got our truck from them. We couldn't be happier. So hope that you will do the same and go look to purchase a vehicle from them. But if not, you can still sell your used vehicle to them as well. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. And again, we're going to hear from Leon Rice in just a second. Colin is uploading that into the system as we speak. ICCU.com is the website, your mobile online banking, the mobile e-branch banking. It's so easy to use, never been easier. I'm so happy that Bronco Nation News and the Rains family made the switch to Idaho Central Credit Union. We can do all of our transferring of money and everything and paying off our truck loan all online from Idaho Central Credit Union. So ICCU.com, make sure you check them out. Okay, Leon Rice met with the media after the game, and here's the head coach after a 72-52 loss to San Diego State.
I mean, just obviously without Marcus, I mean, just the kids were facing an uphill battle from the start.
Well, no doubt, and you know, we don't have, I think I've talked about this before, our margin for error is small, and what I mean by that, when, we have five guys, the starting five's been clicking great together, and they're better than the sum of their parts because of the way they play together, but every guy's skill matters, and you take your quarterback out, and it matters a lot. There's, teams that are playing in the Super Bowl have good quarterbacks that are, been with them the whole time. Take away Taylor from the Broncos, it's hard. So, it was unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And, it's a big swing not because Jace isn't a good player, or not, I'm not putting those on him. It's just his experience. You're subbing a fifth-year guy who's been in this kind of situation. And because the thing about San Diego State, when you handle that, we didn't handle it, and so it just got turned up, and it made it tough. And we really had nothing going in the first half, and couldn't. I was proud of the way the guys fought in the second half. They didn't throw in the towel, and that's after you dig that big a hole. Now the other thing, this team did this to Nevada here. They did it to Utah State here in the first half, and so they've had a consistency, and we knew, but it's like I said, it's one thing a simple plan to put in, hard thing to go do, and
You guys held their top two scorers scoreless in the first half, and yet they built a big lead.
Yeah.
Is that you're being short-handed? Their depth, anything about
Well, they've got great depth, no doubt about it, but it's always a combination. It's our offense was so bad in the first half that it puts too much pressure on your defense, and we've got to be able to, we did a better job in the second half with it, but too little, too late kind of thing.
It just seemed kind of out of sync the whole first half. Just the flow. Is Marcus? I mean, obviously he's an important player.
Well,
Tyson had foul. Tyson was.
No, I already told you. If you can't handle the pressure increases. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, I don't know what part of that you didn't really get. I mean, it was you got to be able to handle it. They keeps coming. Yes, it was blood in the water, and here come the Sharks. and then it's just going to keep getting more and more and more. And so
with when Tyson got 3 fouls pretty early,
and then you got Marcus and Tyson.
Yeah,
that makes a difference, no doubt.
Is there? I mean, at this point in the season, is there a way to kind of build depth more, or do you just kind of roll with?
Well, there's no waiver wire that I know of.
Sure.
There's no. I mean, the transfer portal. No. Yeah.
Okay.
We are what we are. We have what we have.
You put it in perspective for your guys, so there's still a lot of basketball to be played.
Well, we're in a great position. That was the 2 top records in the league. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not season's not over. Now it's something we haven't dealt with for 2 years. We never lost a game by double digits last year until the final game. We're one of the last teams in the country to do that. So we haven't. All our games are close, and all our games are, that way. And so yeah, it's a hard pill for us to swallow. But our bye's coming at a terrific time because we got to get healthy. We do play some guys, Seaburn. We do play some guys that play heavy minutes. And this bye is needed right now. Number one, to get our minds and bodies right, get Marcus healthy, like it's almost a godsend that we're getting some time right now because we need it. And then, it helps get, Tyson, we've, ridden him hard and put him away wet. He's been heavy minutes. So he'll get his legs back. The guys that are, Naj is, I don't know what percentage he was, but he wasn't, he's got to get help. It'll really, really help to get these guys' minds and bodies healthy.
You didn't have a lot of open shots, especially in the first.
Well, how many years have you came down here? 15. That you don't get over. I mean, their defense is their defense for a reason, and they get into you and they get and. You think back to some of the years that we've handled it well. I mean, we never got out of the 50s last year on them. I mean, they're a great defensive team. Our fans are about. We know that, and they were juiced up. They know. They looked at the standings. They knew, and they also knew what happened last year. We beat them 3 times. I mean, they came out and they got after it and got us, on our heels, and they. But like I said, they did that to Utah State, they did that to Nevada, and so we knew what was coming. We just, like I said, it's a lot harder to do than it is to, you tell your guys, here, but when you're out there and they're in you, and it's first time, that's a lot to put on a freshman. It's never, because it's not like I said, it's not that Jason's not a good player. He's gonna be a great one, but he's never experienced that before, and. So all of a sudden the stress is coming and the pressure's coming and then it gets more and more and more and his instinct is to hold on the ball a little bit too much, but he'll learn from it, he'll grow and, because Marcus has done it for 5 years and these other guys have done it for 5 years and it's not all on him, I'm not saying that at all, and, it's just a tough thing to put a freshman into.
With the bye week, getting guys rest, will you go, will they have 3 or 4 days of not doing really?
Well, different guys that do different things because we I've said it all along is develop this bench, we got to develop these guys.
Yeah.
And so some of those guys will get some more reps, but those starters have heavy minutes.
Yeah.
So Naj needs to get the knee healthy. Shave's got to get the ankle healthy. Max needs to get his back healthy. On and on. And Tyson, like I said, Tyson at Air Force looked dead, because I rode him hard, and, so it'll be great for us. It's coming at a great time.
With the final thing for me, with the perspective of it being 1 loss.
You Tony.
You guys.
Mike.
1 loss, long season. You say we're still in a good spot.
Oh,
this team has shown that over the last few years, right? That 1 loss they're good to move past it.
Yeah. Now, just like a win, we don't move past it, like I get surly, they get surly. They don't like to lose. We don't like to lose, Yeah. And I that's what I respect about these guys. It hurts us, all of us. We've got to put everything into it, and so we don't move on from it right away, just like a win. We want it to clinch your teeth, and we got to be better, and to compete for a title. It's really hard to win a championship in this league, and we've all talked about it, especially this year. There are great teams everywhere. You can't have a bad half against anyone. A bad half against anyone, you're in big trouble. So, like I said, I was proud that we came out and competed the second half, but we dug ourselves such a hole that we can't.
Well, there he is, Leon Rice, talking with the media after the game, 72-52 loss. Leon Rice, a little testy a little bit, but overall I thought he took the loss and kind of put it in perspective well based on how things have gone to this point. As Mrs. Degenhardt says on the bright note, Boise scored 2 more points than San Diego State in the second half. That is certainly there. Someone asked about the net rankings. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that KenPom, they lost 6 spots. They're down to 31 in the KenPom rankings after that game. Let's see what we got here. Need to recruit some kids in Twin Falls, CSI, #1 JUCO in the country. Yeah, they are playing pretty well. Rice said that missing Shaver is like missing your quarterback. Yes, he did. No threes. Liver died by the 3. Yeah, they were 2 of 18 from 3-point range. We'll get them back when they visit Boise State. Full court press. Played aggressive. Broncos had an off night, but that's not normal. We love our team. What injury requires a boot? It's just a high ankle sprain from what I'm told, so I don't think it's anything to be super worried about. How about I like to see this. Opened an ICCU credit union business account 2 weeks ago. Couldn't be happier. BNN helped us make our decision. Thanks. Appreciate that. That's good to hear, Jake. Hope you are happy with it. That sounds good. Feisty Leon, a little rude. Sorry, man. Oh, it's all good. Keep firing the questions. It is what it is after a tough loss. I get it. Confluence of factors that came together tonight resulted in the blowout loss. Outside world will just see the score and not understand. Yep, and that's the thing with like KenPom and the net rankings and all that. They don't know that your best player didn't play, so they don't put all that into account. So it is what it is. Flip-flopping centers all year, not getting one of them in a rhythm, finally caught up to this team. I'm really not sure if that's – love you, Keaton, but I don't know if that's the reason they lost because that they didn't have, the center. I mean, the center's been bad all year, but that wasn't why they lost today. Great time for a week off. Agree with that. Max Rice also met with the media. We're going to play that in just a minute and hear what Max had to say after the game. But first, we want to tell you about a couple more of our great sponsors. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. Check them out, transcompservice.com. You're looking for a new job? How about getting into the trucking industry? Transcompservice.com can help you every step of the way and get you out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcompservice.com. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out as well if you're looking for a dentist. Boise Dentistry Co., full family dentistry, locations across the Treasure Valley, 906-1255. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance, to make business insurance easy. They have 44 states around the country. They can write business policy insurance. So check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Shop Ridley's. Go download that Ridley's app. Find the location near you at ShopRidley's.com. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 Idaho locations. Check them out, ShopRidley's.com. And if you're looking for some Boise State gear, check out the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. They've got free shipping. Any order over $40. You make a $40 order online, you get free shipping at theblueandorangestore.com. And if you're in the Boise area, you can go check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall. They're on the second floor next to Pro Image. Matt Bauscher, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. I was texting with Matt during the game. Obviously, a big Bronco fan, disappointed with how things were going. But if you're looking to buy or sell a home, check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. And, of course, Timberstone Golf Course, play Timberstone.com. Go check them out as well. If you're looking to book a tee time or get out there and get some lessons, work on your game, check them out at Timberstone Golf Course, play Timberstone.com. Let's hear from Max Rice, Boise State guard, after the loss.
To kind of just chalk it up and move on?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough one. They were ready for us today. We got them 3 times last year, and I think they were ready for us. And I think you saw that all night tonight. They pressured us really well. We turned the ball over. We didn't shoot the ball well. So it was kind of their night tonight.
I mean, Marcus just proved tonight how valuable he is to this team.
Oh, absolutely. He's been in college 6 years. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to run a team. He makes huge shots. Obviously, it's going to be tough without Marcus and then getting in foul trouble. So we were really depleted out there, and it kind of felt that way. We were taking terrible shots in the first half. But we'll come back and we'll fix it. So
those shots, did it just get to a thing where, like, Marcus is out, Iggy gets early fouls, and it's like, all right, like we kind of have to press a little bit here.
Oh yeah, I mean we were in big trouble when Daggy picked up that third foul. I looked around and I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. But we kept pushing. We kind of stayed with them in the second half, which is more a victory, but it doesn't really matter. But we fought in the second half, and that's all you can try to do. So.
Well, I mean, I know Marcus was a huge part of it in the foul trouble. Why else do you think that there's the pressure and some of the shots? It just didn't look like the team we've seen all year.
Yeah, I think playing in Viejas is tough, man. I mean, I think they probably win here 9 out of 10 times, if not more. So, I mean, a depleted team like us coming in, it was going to be a tough one for sure. I mean, we didn't come in expecting to lose, but we knew it was going to be tough. I wish we could get it back and run it back with them, but we will in a couple weeks. So
it didn't seem like you guys got many open shots. I mean, their defense was as advertised tonight.
Oh yeah, and they weren't calling too much in the first half. Like they called a lot in the second half, but the first half they weren't calling that much. So it was a physical game, and they kind of out-physicaled us. They have a really deep bench and a lot of good big guys. So.
How important is going to be a week off for rest and health and all that?
Oh, that's huge. It's the perfect time for us to get the spread.
There he is, Max Rice, talking after the game, and yeah, they badly need the bye. And he I thought I kind of chuckled when he said he looked around when Tyson Dickenhart got his third foul and said, "Yeah, we're in trouble." He did play 15 minutes, according to Dustin, without picking up his fifth foul. Yeah, I guess that was impressive there. But I mean, he had 2 fouls. Leon Rice talked to the coaches, elects to leave him in because it's getting bad, and then right away he picks up his third foul when Nathan Mensah takes a charge. So he had to sit the last 7.5 minutes of the half. And then before the first media timeout, he already picks up his fourth there with like 16 minutes left in the game. So just was one of those nights where it didn't go very well for Boise State from start to finish. And they just couldn't get anything going. And again, whether they lost by 1 or by 22 or 20, it's a loss. They drop into second place tie in the standings, and we'll see how the rest of the weekend shakes out. You got Nevada up by 3 at Air Force right now at the half. UNLV is up on Fresno by 6 at the half, so we'll follow those and see what the final standings look like later tonight. But Boise State falls in this one. Again, final score was 72-52. Boise State at least did do better than the 42 they scored here last year. But as Dustin Aldrich says, San Diego State came out inspired. And yeah, I think that was it. They lost 3 times last year to them. They were ticked off with the way it went, and they shot lights out and played great tonight, and Boise State didn't, and that's what it is. So it ends up being a loss. We'll have full coverage at BroncoNationNews.com. We already have the highlights and the full interviews up. If you missed any of Leon or Max, that's up on our YouTube channel. We'll have a full story. I've already got about almost 500 words written, so we'll have a full recap up as well. And then Boise State gets a week off. So Brandon was asking about the bench. Should they have played more with the game out of hand early? Yeah, you could have made a case. I mean, they did go pretty far down the bench with Pavle. I mean, at one point they had Pavle, Mo Silla, Kobe Young was in there. I mean, they were going pretty far down the bench. And then at one point they had Burke Smith and Mo Silla, Burke Smith and Lucas Milner out there together at one point. I mean, they were trying all kinds of things, and it just wasn't their night tonight. So Boise State falls, and you did get a little bit of Sadanganga 2 minutes at the end of the game. But yeah, we'll see. But Boise State needs the bye week. Flush this one behind them, and you move on to Wyoming next Saturday. So that'll do it for tonight. I know it's a Friday night. You guys have much better things to do than sit here and talk about a 20-point loss to San Diego State. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Again, if you need any of the highlights or any of the full interviews, those are up on our YouTube channel. Thanks to Colin Mitchell for all of his work on this trip as well, helping with the highlights and a lot of the behind-the-scenes things that you're not seeing on camera. So we appreciate Colin. And appreciate all of you for checking us out. Pre-game show, post-game show. Go check out the website, BroncoNationNews.com, and hopefully you'll consider a subscription. We'd love to have you. And if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. And make sure you're subscribed down at the bottom. It's free. Just click that YouTube subscribe button, and you can get notified when we go live and things like that. So have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday morning. John Mallory and I will talk to you Monday morning. We'll have Super Bowl week next week as well. A lot going on. And then we'll have, I think, some softball coverage because they have a game next week, their first game of the season. The women's team, I think, is back home next week, maybe at some point. So a lot of coverage still coming. And then Wyoming game next Saturday. So have a great rest of your night, rest of your weekend. Signing off from San Diego for Colin Mitchell. My name is BJ Rains. This is the Lithia Florida Boise post-game show, sponsored by Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.